Okay, this is a quick rundown of the DBT skill for the interpersonal effectiveness module called Give. And this is the skill that we can use when we are wanting to prioritize relationship effectiveness. So it's for use when there's a time when we really value the relationship and we want to preserve the relationship. Okay. So an example of this might be that a friend says something really offensive or inappropriate, but they're like a dear friend. I'm gonna probably like try to work it out with them and try to help them understand how I feel and take care of the relationship because I really care about the relationship. Let's take a peek at this. Okay, I am using the website dbt.tools. It's an excellent one for um, all the DBT skills. Okay, so maintaining healthy relationships through effective communications. We're going to be gentle, act interested, validate, and use an easy manner. So this is more less about like steps like Dear Man and more about like a vibe, how we're going to show up. So be gentle. So my friend may say something inappropriate, and if I was using fast, I might just be like, I don't like what you're saying. I'm going to walk away, which is not very gentle. If I'm using give, I'm going to be like, hey, I noticed that um, you just said this thing about, you know, this issue that we had. Let's say they're saying something that's homophobic. Hey, I noticed that you were saying something about who should be able to love each other. Okay. So we're going to be nice and respectful. We're not going to be like threatening or trying to manipulate. We're not going to be saying like, this example is I'll, hurt myself if you blah, blah, blah. Um, we're just going to sort of say, hey, I noticed this, right? And that's going to lead into acting interested. So we're going to show up like we care about what they think and less like we're telling them that they're bad, right? Which is these two kind of go together. So we're going to be like, hey, I'm curious why it felt like why you said that thing about who could love each other. And if they say, like, I like this one, be sensitive to the person's wish to have a discussion at a later time. If they say, like, I don't want to talk about this, we're going to respect it, right? We're going to validate, like, if they say, like, hey, this is all I know about relationships, or I didn't mean, or I don't know, I just said that. And we're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I hear you. This is what you've learned. That makes sense. Um, it, you know, let's take some time. Tell me more about where you learned this. How does it feel for you to know that I'm asking you about this, etc. We're going to be really validating. And we're going to use a easy manner. I like the one like soft sell. Be political is another way to think of it. So we're going to be a little light. We're going to be like, okay, tell me more. Like, hey, what's going on? Versus like, you should know better. You said this wrong. It's not okay. Don't do it again. Right? That's the opposite of give. So give takes a lot of like, um, maturity, a lot of personal resources. It's extremely generous. And you're not going to always have the nervous system capacity to do it. So if you're anything like me and you are interacting with a tricky person and you just end up raising your voice and getting angry and rolling your eyes and, making sarcastic comments and being like, well, you're wrong and you're a jerk, then if you know this situation is happening, you might give yourself a chance to be like, hey, can we interact about this by email? And I'll tell you two reasons why. One is then you can pause and take care of your nervous system until you're feeling more safe, so that you're not having to lash out. And then you can write something when you feel calm, and you can, like I'll have my therapist help me write things. I'll have ChatGPT help me write things. I'll be like, hey, can you help me do this with using the DBT give skill? or can you help me do this, and be more assertive and less passive aggressive. Um, and you can take your time with it, right? So you don't have to do it immediately. If I was in a one-on-one situation and I was in my right mind, or my wise mind, better than right, because there is no right. But if I'm in my wise mind and I notice this is happening in a real-time conversation, I might say, hey, I notice that I'm getting kind of upset and I'm not acting in a way that I, want to. Can we continue this conversation at another time so that I can take care of my anger and not throw it at you? Then another scenario is I might just go ahead and lash out and do things that don't feel right, or wise, for me. And then I could go back with a give and say, hey, I want to acknowledge, like, I was pretty riled up and I didn't interact with you in a way that aligned with my values, and I'm sorry. And can we try again? So there's a lot of ways that we can use this, both in initially in navigating a relationship thing, with someone where the relationship really matters, and after the fact, if we have not handled it the way that we would have liked to. It's great for both of those. And again, this one is, like all the interpersonal effectiveness skills, it's about being effective for you. It's not about getting what you want or getting the other person to respond the way you want. That is not in our power. And if someone's not in their wise mind, then they might not be able to receive this. And it's not going to matter how effective you are. They're going to have all sorts of their own responses, and feelings and thoughts about things. So um, we want to use these skills if we are understanding that it's not about changing someone else's behavior, but it's about taking good care of ourselves and expressing in alignment with our values, showing up how we'd like to show up, being able to look back on the experience and um, feel like we were connecting in a way that was meaningful to us. So check it out. And all of these are nice to communicate with yourself as well. So I've got videos on the other two. I'll link them all. Lots of love.